Hello everyone and welcome to the Captain Jimmy Pie 2018 Christmas special.
Snow is falling all around me.
Well, we've got quite the packed Christmas special this year. We've got two customs videos, one live from the workshop and one custom figure showcase. The first episode of series 2 of my audio series. A review who of the festive first Doctor story, The Feast of Stephen. My word, that's a lot of F's. And lastly, the very first teaser trailer for my Mission to the Unknown figure animation. But we're going to kick things off with a live from the workshop. As many of you will know, a while back I updated my custom third Doctor TARDIS to be both a second and third Doctor TARDIS. But with the release of the B&M third Doctor TARDIS sets, I decided to get another one and make my own separate second Doctor TARDIS. Hello everyone and welcome to another live from the workshop, and today we're going to be doing another classic TARDIS custom, and we are going to be doing the second Doctor's TARDIS, because the second Doctor's TARDIS is actually now one of the only ones that I don't have in my collection. Obviously I previously made a second and third Doctor TARDIS, but because I've managed to get hold of another of these B&M ones, I'm now going to make a second Doctor TARDIS, so what is my second and third Doctor TARDIS has now become solely my third Doctor TARDIS. So overall this is going to be a very basic repaint, but the one thing that I have already done is to take off the roof piece, trim the lamp off and sculpt around the edges, and then I have made a new roof piece which obviously once painted up will sit on top of this and glue on top. So the general sort of model I'm going for this is similar to what was seen in Power of the Daleks and also in the Twice Upon a Time, the first Doctor's TARDIS scene there, but overall it's just going to be a very simple repaint, so let's get started with that. And so here is my finished second Doctor TARDIS. So I'm pretty pleased with how this came out. Originally I intended for actually the roof to be a little bit shorter, but when I've actually put this, I don't unfortunately have it to hand, but I put this side by side with my third Doctor TARDIS, and it actually turns out that what I've inadvertently done is they're exactly the same model, basically. The roof's the same sort of style and shape and size, and it's literally just a difference of making the different, the paint application, more or less. But I think it's worked out really well. I'm very pleased with the signs. Now, overall, obviously, I know some people are going to say, well, the signs are quite narrow and things like that. And the signs are a little bit narrow, so it's a little bit inaccurate on that front as well. But I actually quite like it because I primarily based this... Originally, my plan was to base it on what was seen in Power of the Daleks. But it ended up sort of also, I used elements of the TARDIS scene in Twice Upon a Time, because obviously... Technically, that takes place just before Power of the Daleks, so obviously they made the TARDIS to look like it would have in Power of the Daleks as much as they could. So there are a few small elements other than that. Obviously, I've changed the sign, and the one thing, obviously, that you will notice, and that wasn't in the actual putting together it video, is I've given it a sort of white wash here and there, just to make it look that little bit more grubby and have sort of little bits of dirt and grime, which the second Doctor TARDIS did certainly seem to have at later points, or at various points of its life. And I think it works quite well, because the clean version looked very odd. It really, something about it just really didn't look right, and so having it have these sort of slight scuff marks and things like that really does make it stand out from the others. And it's also nice as well because this tone of blue, this sort of greenish blue, it's not, well, I say it's greenish blue, it is blue. There isn't, the only reason I'm saying it's greenish blue is because I did mix a bit of green in with it, but it is still blue. It's a very sort of aqua colour, I suppose, is the only way I could describe it. But it's nice because, again, none of my other classic TARDISes have this exact shade, so it makes it stand out a bit more as well. But that's pretty much it. That's all I've done. Is, again, it's just a very simple repaint and a little bit of DIY on the roof. So for the first time in the history of the new series, 2018 sees us without a Doctor Who Christmas special. However, what you may not know is that Doctor Who's very first ever Christmas special was broadcast all the way back in 1965 as part of the Daleks' master plan. Sadly, along with many other episodes of this story, the Christmas special is missing. However, several unofficial reconstructions do exist, and so with that in mind, I present to you my review who of the festive story, The Feast of Stephen.
What's that word you use?
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Spoilers. Spoilers. Spoilers. I like that word.
I thought you might.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this festive edition of Missing Presumed Lost, because today we'll be looking at Doctor Who's first ever Christmas special, The Feast of Stephen. So here we are, slap bang in the middle, more or less, of a dark Dalek story which features evil dictators, dead companions, and of course, the Daleks. So in this episode, it's only natural that the TARDIS crew find themselves in foggy London, and then later on interrupting a Hollywood film. Oh, and Charlie Chaplin and Bing Crosby pop up at one point as well. As far as the story goes, it certainly comes out of left field in comparison to all the other episodes in the Daleks' master plan. But as Doctor Who's first ever Christmas special, it certainly is something to behold. So as I'm sure you all know by now, it's at this point that I would talk about the general story, some of my favourite bits, etc. But that's where we run into a little bit of a problem. Because you see, whilst The Feast of Stephen is a very fun little mini episode, it is just that, a mini episode. Not only does it not continue the Daleks' master plan main story, but in itself, it doesn't really have a story. It's more just a random series of events and mishaps that the Doctor and companions find themselves in. First, the trio land in London, and the Doctor finds himself being questioned by the police about the TARDIS.
I don't think you really understand. That object in the yard out there isn't really a police box.
No, of course it's not. It's a New Brighton ferry.
And then, after escaping London, they find themselves in Hollywood, interrupting a film, with Stephen being mistaken for an extra, and the Doctor mistaken for a historic advisor.
I'm Professor Webster!
So overall, there isn't really very much to talk about in terms of story. But in a way, that's a good thing, because it means as it's so unrelated to the Daleks' master plan during which this story takes place, this little one-off episode can be enjoyed without needing any prior knowledge of the aforementioned serial. Christmas is a time for joy and happiness, so I apologise in advance for the dampener I'm about to put on proceedings. Because the Feast of Stephen was classed as a Christmas episode, it was deemed of no sales value, as it would have to only be shown, really, on Christmas Day. As such, when overseas TV stations bought Doctor Who for broadcast in their countries, the Feast of Stephen wasn't included, and the Daleks' Master Plan was sold as an 11-part story rather than a 12-part. Because of this, the Feast of Stephen became the first ever episode of Doctor Who to be scrapped by the BBC archives. And because no 16mm black and white film tele-recording was made for international distribution, the only known recording of it was on its original master tape, which sadly, like many tapes later on, was wiped. This, in turn, means that the Feast of Stephen is one of those missing Doctor Who stories that is confirmed to be gone forever. Now, in part 1 of my Daleks Master Plan review, I said I was going to leave out the reconstruction rating until I'd reviewed the full story, but I decided to put it back in for this episode for a very special reason. As many of you will be aware, this year, 2018, will be the first year that the revived series doesn't have a Christmas special, instead giving us a New Year's special. But it got me thinking, if the BBC decided to follow this line in future, then perhaps we could get a Christmas special in another way. What if the BBC animated the Feast of Stephen to be broadcast on Christmas Day in the original black and white, with a colour repeat following on Boxing Day? Granted, it wouldn't be as long as a new series Christmas special, but as I mentioned before, you don't need prior knowledge of the Daleks' master plan to enjoy it, and I know it would certainly be very popular among fans if it was broadcast on TV. Or possibly, to make up the time in the slot that needs to be filled, the BBC could animate both Mission to the Unknown and the Feast of Stephen as a kind of double feature showing, which would add up to a runtime of 50 minutes. And both of these animations could later be released on DVD and or in time as part of a full Daleks Master Plan animation release. Alternatively, another idea, albeit a more costly one, which would probably mean we wouldn't get a new series special that year, could be to have the episode entirely reshot with a live cast, perhaps using the BBC's own studios doubling for the Hollywood studios, and seeing David Bradley return as the first Doctor.
A Merry Christmas to all of you at home.
Like the rest of the Daleks Master Plan, it is a shame that this story is missing, but as long as you don't mind a stills reconstruction, it's still very much worth watching as some Doctor Who festive fun. Now, I was planning at this point to say that you could check out my reaction video that I did way back in 2015, but for some unfathomable reason, despite the fact that it's been unchallenged on YouTube for 3 years, this year the BBC have decided to block that reaction video, but also block my 2015 Christmas special in which that appeared. Let's just hope they don't do the same to this video. Either way, I would thoroughly recommend checking out the Feast of Stephen if you get the chance. It might not be what it once was, but it still hasn't lost any of its fun, festive charm. As previously mentioned, we've sadly not got a Doctor Who Christmas special this year, so allow me to rectify that. Not only do we see the return of Nell... In the first episode of Series 2, not only do we see the return of Nell and the Daleks, but of course also the Doctor. But probably not the one you were expecting.
Here, give us another chestnut.
You had 5 already, you'll end up sick.
I don't want to eat it, just hold it in my hands, they're still hot.
Worth it though, wasn't it? Coming all the way from Enfield to see the Frost Fair.
It is something magical, but I still say we should have told Albert where we was off to.
Nah, you won't miss us. Besides, we can make it back before the day's out.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather round, please, ladies and gentlemen.
What's all that shouting?
No idea. But I think we should find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the wonder of the Frost Fair is a sight to behold. But have you ever wondered, as you walk upon this glacial stage, what wonders there may be beneath your very feet?
He must be mad. No one would go swimming in this weather.
Shh.
Well, now is the chance to delve into the depths of our city's waterway. Planned with care, constructed in secret, and now open to you, the paying public. Come gaze at the underground wonder of the Forge House.
How much is it?
Just 1 threepence per person, my dear young sir, and you'll be pleased to hear room for all. So come forth, one and all, and marvel at the modern wonders of mankind.
Come on, let's go have a look.
I don't know. Something doesn't feel right about this.
Oh, come on. Look, we'll do this, and then we'll head back. Hey, you can have the rest of my chestnuts.
You sure do know how to win a lady over, William. What is this place?
Don't look like no house I ever saw.
It's like made of metal, but how did they build this without anyone seeing?
It's not even laid out like an house.
What was that?
What?
I saw something moving over there, in the shadows.
Look, very funny, Clara, but you ain't getting over me on that.
There, didn't you hear that?
No, that I heard. What the bleeding hell is that? There's something in here with us. Look over there. Lights. Blue lights. They're getting closer.
William, what is it? What's happening?
Silence!
What are you going to do to us?
Exterminate!
Wow, snow. Real proper snow. Doctor, you have to come and see this.
Yes, all right, my dear, all right. Don't in such a rush.
So come on. You said this was a surprise. Where are we?
Perth, England, London. And the date is the 24th of December, 1683. And if you'll just follow me... This is one of the great London frost fairs.
Wow, that is so cool. Pun fully intended. Hold on, those are bridges. Is this a river?
Pun fully allowed, because yes, that is the river. And we are currently in the midst of the great frost fair of 83. Well, technically 83 to 84.
But what if it collapsed? Are those fires on the ice?
People have to keep warm now, but I wouldn't worry. In the thinnest place, the ice is at least a foot thick. Besides, just a few burning logs on the ice amazes you. You just wait until you see what else they have.
This is amazing.
It is indeed. I never get tired of coming to these.
Not gonna run into yourself, are you?
No, well, not this time anyway. 83 is one of the few I've never visited before. In the past, anyway. There's still all the future ice ages of Earth to go yet.
So, as lovely as this little side trip is, I know you. There's no such thing as a surprise trip with you. Why here and now?
Because the TARDIS picked something up, something strange, something that doesn't belong here. Exactly what, though, remains another mystery. I couldn't get a clearer reading.
So where do we start?
I suggest we just walk around, my dear, and if my nose is pointing me in the right direction, the mulled wine and hot pastries are this way. When in doubt, find the person who most likely knows, sees, and hears the most. In this instance, the purveyor of hot things on a cold day. Come on, we'll take a side of the stalls each. Any luck, my dear?
Nothing out of the ordinary, but a lot of people were talking about this house.
The Forge House?
So I'm guessing you heard the same thing.
Yes, but curiously no one actually seems to know what it actually is. Lots of people are talking about it, but very few people actually seem to have been in it themselves.
I think it's just down here on the left. Look for a big red and white striped tent. That's what I was told.
Well, there's the tent, but it doesn't look like it's open. But I'll hazard a guess that our man in the top hat there is the one we need to talk to. Excuse me, sir.
Hello. My apologies, gentlemen and lady, but the Forge House is closed for the day. Please come back tomorrow.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that, you see. Where did I put it? Yes. Here, my credentials.
What's this? Fair Inspector on behalf of the Mayor's office? I was not aware there was such a post.
Well, if there wasn't before, there is now, so if you'd be so kind as to step aside, my assistant and I would like to inspect.
Yes, of course. It's just that...
Just what?
Well, structural issues, yes. The Forge House is closed overnight for maintenance, and it wouldn't do to have any city officials come to harm. If you'd care to return tomorrow, then you're more than welcome to inspect at your leisure.
Well, maybe we want to inspect now.
Shush. You'll have to excuse my assistant, sir. She's very adamant about doing her job. But if you so wish, we shall return tomorrow. Good day.
You cannot tell me that wasn't suspicious in the slightest.
Please, my dear. That man's very middle name was suspicious, and if the readings I took in my pocket are anything to go by, then whatever the Forge House is, then it's the source of the signal.
So what do we do now?
The only thing we can do. Wait around until he decides to leave, and then do a spot of trespassing.
Then can we please go back to the TARDIS? I really need a warmer jacket.
Good idea. That'll just give me some time to process these scans I took. Come along, my child. Quickly, before anyone sees you.
I thought the whole point of sneaking in under the back of the tent was so that no one sees us.
Maybe so, but it wouldn't do to dawdle just in case. I say, it's rather dark in here. Have a look in the pocket of that parka you're wearing, will you?
What am I looking for?
There should be a small lamp in the pocket somewhere.
You mean this? It's tiny.
Size is no guarantee of efficiency, my dear. That's a Martian moon lamp.
Wow, that's bright.
Charged by the twilight rays of the 24th moon of Mars, can go 3 months before it needs another charge and will ward off even the biggest of Martian cave bats.
Meanwhile, back on planet Earth, we're inside an empty tent.
Not quite so empty. Look, there's a door in the floor.
So, do we knock?
No, it's locked, but more importantly, it's certainly not of this Earth.
Where is it from?
I have a horrible feeling I know. If I use the base code on the readings I took earlier, I can mimic the particular pattern needed to open the door.
Why do I feel like we've just opened Pandora's box?
Because that door opening confirms my horrible feeling. This is Dalek technology.
The Daleks? What are they doing here?
I have a further horrible feeling that the answer to that lies in the Forge House. Come along, my dear, and mind your footing.
So this is a Dalek ship? I've only ever seen them from the outside.
Yes, my dear. Technically, this is a scout ship, which is strange in itself, because they're never that far from the fleet. They only have short-range capabilities.
So does that mean their fleet is still up there?
Thankfully not. If they were, the TARDIS would have certainly picked it up. So what is a single Dalek scout ship doing submerged in the Thames?
And more to the point, where are all the Daleks?
Correction, where is the Dalek? Scout ships like this only ever have a single pilot.
It looks like they've long since abandoned this place.
I don't know. It's worryingly quiet, certainly, but a Dalek would never just abandon a ship. And there's still light in there, albeit very minimal, like it's running on the lowest possible reserve power.
Doctor, look, over there!
And there is our shiny friend.
What do we do?
Stay absolutely still. Wait for it to engage us.
Why isn't it doing anything?
I think Well, it sounds strange, but I think it's asleep.
Daleks sleep?
Well, not sleep as you or I would understand it, but if this place is already running on low power, then it must be conserving whatever power it does have.
Doctor, stay away from it.
Don't worry, my dear. I don't think it's dangerous. If it was awake, we'd know by now, and even then, on such low power, the worst it could do would be to give us a nasty shock. I doubt it can spare enough power for a lethal blast. Do me a favour and bring that lamp a little closer, will you?
Are you sure it's safe?
Absolutely. There's nothing to worry about.
Doctor?
I told you, my dear, it's fine.
Doctor, look! Look at the walls!
By Rassilon's beard.
Is that... Are they the missing people?
I'm afraid they might well be.
What's happened to them?
Exactly what it looks like. Strung up, strapped in, and wired up to the ship. The Daleks using them like batteries.
Are they dead?
They might as well be, but no. I suspect the Daleks' intention was to kill them, but with it being so low on power, it'd probably just stun them. Even a dead body has a minor electrical charge for a while. Look, see that box all the wires go into? It's a relay unit. It takes the electrical charge out of them, uses them to magnify it, and then distributes it throughout the rest of the ship. It's still very low on power, but if they're using people who are still alive, it'll only take half as many to charge it back up to full power.
Can we get them down?
We could, but there's a high chance that they'll wake the Dalek in the process.
Well, we can't just leave them.
No, you're right, we can't. But if we do this, we'd have to act quickly. You start on that side, I'll start on the other.
Well, what's going on? Where am I?
Steady now, my dear boy. We've come to help you.
Clara. Is Clara okay?
Doctor, this girl said her name was Clara.
Ah, good. Your friend is quite safe, but we need your help. There's not really a lot of time to explain, but I need you both to help me with these other people.
But where are we? And that thing, it shot us. Why aren't we dead?
I promise I'll explain everything, but right now you need to help me get everyone out of here.
Systems back online. Energy levels at 78%. Intruders will be exterminated.
Doctor, we need to get out of here.
I couldn't agree more. Come on, everyone. Back that way. To the exit. Run!
Exterminate.
I think that's far enough. The Dalek's too low on power to follow us out of the ship, and those discharges from his weapon won't have helped it conserve power either.
Now, will you please tell us what's been going on? Who are you both? And what was that thing back there?
I'm the Doctor. This is Nell. You've both been held hostage in a spaceship by a Dalek, intent on harvesting the electrical forces in your bodies to regain its power.
What the bleeding hell are you talking about? A what? And a what ship?
A Dalek. And a spaceship.
Think of one as a very evil soldier and the other a boat that travels through the stars, and you get the idea.
You're mad, the pair of you.
We have our moments, it has to be said, but right now I need you to tell me everything you know about the Forge House.
We just thought it'd be interesting to have a look.
Next thing we know, that Dalek thing attacked us and there you were.
What about the man who runs it? The fellow in the top hat and mustache, like he belongs on the cover of a crisp packet.
I think his name's Ambergast. Lives over Whitefair Street. Runs his business office out there too.
Then I think we'd better pay Mr. Ambergast a visit.
What about us?
Ah, yes. You two can guard the Forge House.
Well, there's no way I'm going back in there. Because what if that daily thing comes back out?
I told you it's low on power. It won't risk coming out and you don't need to go in there. Just make sure no one else goes in there.
I don't like it, but alright. What about all those other people in there, though?
We'll see what we can do. But don't worry. We aren't going to leave them there.
You have my word on that, my dears. But come on, Nell. We've not got an appointment with Mr. Ambergast.
Weird lot, aren't they?
You can say that again. And that other fella, where'd he come from?
What fella?
Him there. Well, he was right there, following them. Oh, this is getting stranger and stranger.
What is this?
Hello again, remember us? Fair inspection, we have a few questions for you.
How dare you barge in here, Jenkins? Jenkins! Where the devil is that man?
Your manservant, you mean? Oh, the strangest thing, he received a telegram telling him he'd won the lottery.
What lottery?
That's what he said too, but the minute I told him it involved millions of pounds, he didn't seem to care and off he went.
Then I shall call for the police.
I wouldn't bother. You see, we're sort of attached to the police. Or, at least, we use their name.
Impudent girl. Now tell me, what are you doing here?
What we are doing here is asking the questions. So how about you tell us about the Forge House, a.k.a. the spaceship hidden under the Thames, about how you and your little tin pot friends are kidnapping innocent people to use them as batteries, stringing them up like flies in a spider's web.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know anything about any missing people. The Forge House is nothing more than a fair attraction. This Dalek spaceship you talk of means nothing to me.
Are you sure?
Yes, now leave immediately or I'll have you thrown out.
That's funny because A, there's no one here to throw us out, and B, we didn't mention the Daleks.
Well, I'm sure that you did.
No, we really didn't. Excuse me a moment.
What is that? Get away from me.
Let's see here. Human. Time signature matches the current date. It's not an agent or a Dalek construct. So, that begs the question, how do you know about them? You know exactly what the Forge House is, or you know the very bare minimum. The fact that you're working with the Daleks means either they're very desperate or you're very stupid.
Probably a mix of both.
Enough. Leave now, or so help me, I'll...
What? That wasn't just some idle threat. You had something in mind. What are you going to do?
Are you sure you want to find out? Very well.
Doctor, is that...
Dalek transmat pad. And where there's a Dalek transmat pad, there's a Dalek.
Why have I been summoned?
These two, they know of you. Who are they?
Well, this is Nell.
Hello.
She's from a colony planet you massacred about 6 centuries ago, at least from my perspective, but then to you, she's just another non-Dalek entity that deserved to die, so I can understand why you wouldn't remember her. No offence, my child.
None taken.
Me, on the other hand, well, I'm sure you'll have met me before in some shape or form. But let's keep this simple. Time Lord, 2 hearts, count them if you want, but you can trust me on that because I'm the Doctor.
Confirmed. You are the Doctor. You are the enemy of the Daleks.
Well, I know that, and you know that, but thank you for pointing that out for the benefit of Muggins over there.
Allow me to introduce you to my business partner.
You made a deal with the Daleks. A deal with the devil probably would have been safer. Still, as we're all here, you might as well tell us what's been going on.
I don't have to answer to you.
Yes, you're right, you don't, so shut up. I'm talking to our shiny friend over there. Well, your shiny friend. So tell me, you need power for your heat sinks to free the ship. I worked out that much myself, hence the human being strung up like so many Christmas lights. But to what end?
To return to the Exodus.
Exodus? From what?
Skaro.
You're leaving Skaro? I guess I'd better update my address book.
Skaro is part of the Exodus. Solar flare activity threatens the planet. Our fleet has already been crippled, but some of us escaped.
Emergency temporal shift. That explains the drain on the power.
So you shifted out of the way of the flare but ended up crash landing into the Thames.
At which point Mr. Pringle over there found you and your ship. But what was your gain in all this?
Money. Pure and simple. You see, that's the beauty of our deal. People pay to get in, but they don't come back out asking for refunds.
There's nothing quite so staggering and disgusting as human greed. But that ends now.
Oh, I don't think so, Doctor. I've got a good thing here, and I'm not going to let you and your meddlesome friends stop me.
Well, that answers that question. The Daleks aren't desperate. You really are just very stupid.
You know, I've always had a tradition of going shooting on Christmas Day. It looks like this year I'll be doing it a bit earlier. Goodbye, Doctor.
Stop.
Why? This man is nothing but an interfering old fool.
The Doctor will provide the power I need.
But we had a deal.
You are no longer required.
What do you mean?
Exterminate!
I stand corrected. The Dalek disregard for life is far more disgusting than human greed.
He was of no further purpose.
So, what now?
You will help me.
I'm going to go ahead and say no.
It is not negotiable.
I'm afraid I have to insist.
Doctor, stop it. It'll kill us.
Oh, I don't think so, my dear. Go ahead. Indulge yourself, Dalek. It's Christmas. Do what you've always wanted to do.
You will help me.
Ha! I knew it. You don't have enough reserve power left for another fatal discharge after killing Mr. Mustachio over there, did you? So we find ourselves at an impasse. You won't kill me, and I won't help you.
Looks like we hold all the cards.
Now, my dear, come on. You of all people should know that you should never underestimate a Dalek. However, I'm sure even Chrome Dome over there would say the odds are stacked in our favour.
State your terms.
Simple. You release all your hostages. You want power to get back to your fleet, I'll give it to you, not them. And then scuttle off back to your scuttled fleet.
These terms are not acceptable.
Well, what would you propose?
You will provide the power needed for my ship. We will return to the fleet together, and you will assist in the exodus. Failure will result in extermination of all captives.
You've got to be joking. Do you really expect us to agree to those terms?
Yes, to ensure your safety. Emergency spatial shaft.
Doctor, what's happening?
Nell, no! Don't you dare take her! Where have you taken her?
She will be held with the other captives to ensure your cooperation.
And how exactly do you plan to escape? You've depleted your reserve power, and I'm sure that little piece of transmat trickery drained your ship's power even more.
Ship power levels are now at 65%. Your companion's Artron energy will provide additional power.
Of course. The power of the time traveller. Your human hostage might be like batteries, but me and Nell are like walking power stations. Fine, you want Artron energy, use me. There's no way Nell could get you up to 100%, but me and my TARDIS. Oh, let her go and I'll give you all the energy you need.
Your companion will provide enough energy to return to the fleet, and she will be held to ensure you cooperate with the Exodus, unless you help me within one Riola cycle.
Why? What happens in a relay? Or to put it locally, an hour.
My ship will have enough power to return to the Exodus.
So my choices are, don't help you, you take my friend and force me to help you later, or help you, and then you take my friend and force me to help you later.
Correct.
Well, looks like I don't have much choice. I'm not going to help you, and I'm going to rescue my friend and all the people on the ship. You see, you've made the mistake of telling me exactly how much time I have, and I'll tell you this much. I can do a lot in an hour.
You will help the Daleks, Doctor. You will save us.
Well done, Doctor. All that confidence might fool the Dalek, but not yourself. You've got to free the hostages. Find Nell, free her, and then get rid of the whole Dalek ship and a Dalek in an hour. It's going to be close, but I think I can do it. No time to lose.
We've got more than time to lose, Doctor. You'll find that out soon.
Doctor, what's going on? There was a rumbling sound a moment ago, and... Hey, where's your friend?
The Dalek has her, and that rumbling was probably the ship's systems restarting.
What does that mean?
It means, my child, in less than 40 minutes there's going to be a serious big hole in the ice.
What?
The temporal shift isn't just going to take the Dalek and its ship back to the fleet, but also a large chunk of the frozen Thames.
Doctor, I don't understand what you're saying, but I get it's bad. What do we do?
You two can get everyone off the ice, at least within a 60-foot radius of this tent, and make sure they stay off. Here, take this.
What is it?
Psychic paper, my boy. If any constable comes asking questions, act authoritative, tell them that you're assistant to the Fair Safety Inspector attached to the Mayor office, and show them that. Then they should help you cooperate with keeping everyone back.
What about you? What are you gonna do?
As much as I can within the short time I have left. First thing is to get as many people out as I can. Go on, run. Get the exit. Don't worry about the pepper pot here. He's no danger anymore. At least, not to all of you. Luckily, not looking like much danger to me either. Dormant, conserving power, waiting for the right moment to initiate the emergency temporal shift. Which reminds me, how long do I have left? 20 minutes. That's going to be very tight. What if I... No, that won't work. How about... No, that's not going to do it either. Right, think, Doctor. Find Nell, get her free. That's at least 10 minutes. Then get back here, scramble the Daleks' navigational system so they can track us. That's got to be 12 minutes. Then get free and clear of that Dalek. That's another 4 minutes. So, to summarise, 20 minutes to do 26 minutes worth of things. No. There's got to be another way around this, unless... I can't. But it might be the only way. At last. The main transmat chamber. How am I doing for time? 14 minutes. Right, as much as I dislike it, let's just go over the plan again. I haven't got the time to save Nell, but as long as the Daleks have her hostage, they won't harm her. Harm her, and they know I won't help them. I'm sorry, Nell, but I've got to let them take you, and wherever you end up, I'll be right behind you. I'm coming for you, which then leads me into the next problem. I've no idea where she'll end up. But I can set this up to transmat something I can track onto the main command ship. When this ship arrives back at the fleet, then I can find out exactly where they are, but what? Let's see what's in my pockets. Pocket watch? No. Jelly babies? Tasty but not trackable. Oh, my Mercurian tie pin. I've been looking for that, but still not what I'm looking for. It needs to be something electronic, something that the TARDIS will instantly recognise, something like... Oh, really? I suppose I don't have a choice. Sorry, old friend. You've been very good to me, but I need you to serve a greater purpose now. In fact, you can do me another favour. If I'm going to save Nell from a Dalek command ship, I need a distraction. So let's set you up to confuse their systems. Okay, sounds like the systems are nearly back online. How am I doing for time? Just over 3 minutes. I'm not going to make it out. And even if I do, that's a lot of freezing water up there to swim through. No, I can do this. I have to do it. For now.
Power levels at 97%. Temporal shift will commence in 200 rails.
Right, that's my cue to leave. Deep breath, Doctor. Deep breath.
Blimey, well that's something you don't see every day.
I'm not sure what I just saw. Did it sink?
I don't think so. More like it kinda just disappeared.
Do you think the doctor made it out okay?
I hope so, but between them Dalek things and the freezing cold water... He's an amazing man, to be sure. I'm sure he's fine. William, what's that?
Where?
There! There's something floating in the water.
It's not one of them Daleks, is it? They're made of metal. How can they float?
Nah, I think it's just a person. William, I think it's the doctor.
What?
It is. It's him.
Well, don't just stand there. Quick, help me get him out.
Oh, Lord, he's stone cold. I don't think he's breathing.
Drowned. Must have tried to swim for it before the ass disappeared.
Well, shouldn't we call someone? We can't just leave him here.
I'll find a constable, but I don't think there's much we can do for him now. There was something with police written on it back there, on the bank. Hopefully there's some assistance there.
William, look! Look at his face. He's glowing.
But he's dead.
Dead? Nonsense, my boy. Just a quick nap.
No way. You was not breathing.
And what was with that glowing?
Nothing. The two of you need to concern yourselves with. But right now, it's imperative I find my TARDIS. Ah, blast. My Sonic. So much for using the homing setting. I don't suppose when you two made your way back here you came across a big blue box, got police written on it?
Well, yeah, it's back there up on the bank. I was just going to go see if...
Thank you, my boy. Thank you. And to you, Clara, but I'm afraid I have to be off. Someone else needs my help.
Dr. Witt!
I'm sorry, I really can't stop. Important business to attend to.
Well, thank you, Doctor, for everything.
You're very welcome.
He really is a strange one. Still, no point in us hanging around here now.
Too right. I could do with a hot drink and a warm fire. Come on.
I just realised. I wonder what happened to that other man that was with him.
What other man?
You didn't see him? When he rescued us, there was another man with him. It's strange, though. He never said a word. Just stood there, all in white, like some kind of ghost.
Yeah. That's the man I saw earlier when they rescued us. Just like you said. All white, just standing there.
But like he was more focused on the doctor, right?
Yeah, like... Listen. It's midnight. Happy Christmas, Clara.
Happy Christmas, William.
Oh, that's better. So much warmer. Although that could just be the oncoming fire. No, I will not change. I will not. No, no, no. The whole idea is just ridiculous. It'll take more than an icy swim to finish me off. Yes, cup of tea, warm blanket, and everything will be fine.
Doctor, stop.
Just need to regroup. Let's see. Better set the coordinates for empty space. Turn on the security protocols. The Daleks are probably tracking me, so if we're going to have a showdown, it's best to do it somewhere deserted.
You can't do this to yourself.
Now, wherever you are, I'm sorry. I just need you to hold on. I'll be there, or at least someone will be. No, I promise myself. None shall be wasted. I can't let this happen. I won't.
Doctor.
What? What do you want?
It's okay. We're here to help.
Help? Out of the corner of my eye, you've been there throughout this whole thing, looking over my shoulder. But I know how you want to help. Just gone to offer me a little push, right?
It's already started. You can't stop it. Relax. Let it go. You said it yourself. Everything will be fine.
But our promise, after what had happened all those years ago, all those lives lost, we promised we'd do everything we could in the future. Not one life wasted.
Your future won't be wasted, Doctor. It will be safe. The future ensures it. But only if this happens now.
Will there be pain?
No. All you have to do is take my hand. Simply close your eyes as one person. Open them as another.
I guess as long as I'm putting my future in safe hands. I'm ready then. Thank you, Doctor.
You're very welcome.
Headache. Different time, body. Tea. Anybody indifferent to tea time? No. Although a cup of tea would certainly wake me up right about now. Although, what's that thing you do before you wake up? Snow. No. Sleet? No, sleep. Sleep! That's it, sleep. Yeah. See, I feel like I could do with a bit of a lie down.
that's about it for this year's Christmas special, but there's just enough time to fit in one more customs video. A custom figure showcase, and this time not only is it another regeneration custom, but it's also another 2-pack regeneration custom. Hello everyone and welcome to another custom figure showcase, and today I'll be showing you not just another regeneration custom but also a double pack, but I will come back to that in a moment because today we're going to just look at the custom for the minute. It is of course a regenerated, or young depending on which you want to call this, I call it regenerated, War Doctor, that is to say the War Doctor as he was seen in his young, newly regenerated form in Night of the Doctor. So the base figure is actually a Night of the Doctor 8th Doctor. It is not the version that came with the 13 Doctors box set, because I originally wanted to get the 13 Doctors box set version because he had the scuffed clothes, but I found it quite difficult to get hold of at a decent, cheaper price. So in the end I just thought, well, I'll just get a normal 8th Doctor, Night of the Doctor figure, because I'll get the bandolier with it as well then, because I didn't have one of those spare. And I just decided then just to weather it up, which I've done. So I've given the coat an overall weathering of acrylic paint. And then on the back as well, I've also added some weathering onto the shoes. But on the back, I've given him some slightly darker patches around his back and on his elbows, because obviously where he'd be lying in dirt when he was still the 8th Doctor. But other than that, like I said, I've just given him some... just giving him overall a bit of dirtying up. And now let's come on to what everyone's going to be wondering about, the head. So this is actually a mix of 3 different head pieces, 2 of which you'll probably be able to guess. The base head, when I say head, I mean not including the hair. The base head is in fact a John Hurt War Doctor head. But then I have removed the mouth part. I haven't just trimmed off the mustache. I removed the entire mouth part, and then I substituted a Captain Jack Harkness mouthpiece in there. You can see the join a little bit if you look closely enough. It's not perfect because I had to fill it in with Milliput, but I think it still works. And then the hair, originally I planned to sculpt on, and I planned originally to sculpt on my own hair, hair piece for the War Doctor, because in the various different guises we've seen him, basically various different medias that show him as a slightly that show him as a younger version have different hairstyles. Some have them sort of very close cropped, others have them much more long and wavy, and then obviously later on in life he has much more sort of shorter spiky hair. However, the actual piece of little bit of trivia here for you. The actual shot of John Hurt that was used in Night of the Doctor for his younger appearance was from 1979's the BBC 1979 TV series of Crime and Punishment. And I'm going to put the actual picture up on screen. And this is the actual shot that the BBC used. They later revealed it in one of the Doctor Who magazines, I believe, or Doctor Who magazine special editions. Or the BBC did later reveal that this was in fact the actual shot itself, which was used for the young War Doctor. And so, looking at that shot, I tried to work out what would be the best hair to sculpt, or the best way to sculpt it. And actually, the more I looked at it, and it had a sort of slightly curled, slightly matted look, I realised that actually the 3rd Doctor's hair would be perfect for it. So that's what I've actually done, is I have completely cut away and scooped and sculpted out the 3rd Doctor's head, and then put the 3rd Doctor's hair on top of the War Doctor's head. And I think it works really well, because when you see the specific shot of John Hurt that was used, I really think that it does work well as a young hairpiece for the character. So that's the base figure, but obviously, as I said, a lot of my other, as I said earlier, a lot of my other box customs, in fact, all my other boxed regeneration customs, I should say, are obviously in their boxes. And so I wanted to do something for this, but I couldn't decide whether I wanted to do it in a classic style box or a new series style one, because the thing with the War Doctor is, for me personally, he's between the two. He was introduced in the new series, but he feels like more of a classic to me. So I wanted to try and find something that would be a bit different to my other boxed customs. And so here is what I have come up with. So here we have the regenerated War Doctor plus Dalek 2-pack. Now the idea for this came about because, as I said, I didn't want to do something that was... Well, I didn't want to do something that was classic, and I didn't necessarily want to do something that was new, but obviously it's very difficult to find a box that doesn't quite fit into either of these. And then I hit on the idea that I had when I did my... regenerated 9th Doctor. I thought, well, I've got to use either a new series or a classic series box. And then I remembered they did these Dalek 2-packs back in 2013 in the run-up to the 50th anniversary. And for that reason I thought, well, in many ways that's a perfect box for it. Because it is something that's a little bit different, and I believe this was originally the 10th Doctor. I haven't bothered to change the back of it just purely because it's never going to be displayed from the back, it's only going to be displayed from the front. So yeah, I thought these boxes looked perfect because it means I could not only have the War Doctor, the young War Doctor in there, but then I could also find a suitable Dalek that would fit the sort of Time War era. And the Dalek in question, which I'm not going to take out the box and do a custom figure showcase on there, for reasons I will explain in a moment, is in fact my Temporal Weapons Dalek from Engines of War, obviously, which isn't from Night of the Doctor era, but given that it's during the Time War and it's a War Doctor story, I thought it was the best Dalek to choose. But the reason I'm not going to show you that in the box is because I've already done 2 videos, in fact, so I'm going to put a link in the description to the custom figure showcase for this Dalek if you want to see it. Yeah, I thought it was a really good Dalek. I thought it worked really well. And obviously on the box as well, I've changed things such as we've got regenerated War Doctor with Dalek Engines of War. On the side, regenerated War Doctor and Dalek action figures with the famous shot of the young John Hurt. And then on this side, we've got, includes regenerated War Doctor and Dalek action figures with a mock-up of the young War Doctor, which I've included. There's a little bit of David Tennant's hair poking out there, but you can't really see that. Again, on the top, includes regenerated War Doctor, Dalek, and regenerated War Doctor with Dalek Engines of War. And then on the front down here, because obviously if we look at the back, you can see here in the corner they did these things where they had the picture of the Doctor, and then they had the large number next to the word Doctor and what year he appeared in. Obviously it was a bit difficult to do that for the War Doctor, seeing as he only ever appeared in one, well, let's say at most he appeared in one full episode. But for that reason I decided to go with a large W for War Doctor 2013, because obviously that is the year he appeared in, whichever episodes people would count it. But yeah, so it's come out so well, and it looks great alongside all my other ones, because I don't have any of these. I call these the Diamond Select. Well, I say I don't have any actually. I've got a couple, but I don't have many of these Diamond Select boxes. I've got a few figures in sort of bubble packs, but none of these boxed ones. So it's really nice to have one of these now, because at first glance it just does look like one of the 2-packs, but then obviously you look at it and you realise, oh, that's not just a 2-pack, you know, that's not a normal 2-pack. So it has come out really well. I'm very pleased with it. It's a great figure to make. Certainly, I have to be perfectly honest, not the easiest to make because of what needs to be done with the head, but it definitely came out very well. I definitely think it looks the part, certainly. What I may do in future is take the head off the War Doctor here and cast it, because at the moment the problem I've got here is the 3rd Doctor's hairpiece. It doesn't take paint very well. Paint comes off it very easy. So what I'll probably try and do in future maybe is cast another version and then possibly repaint it as well. And just for the sake of mentioning this, because I know at some point probably somebody's going to mention it, in terms of selling casts of the War Doctor, young War Doctor head, it's certainly an idea that's crossed my mind. However, I have no plans to do it, simply because it would involve potential copyright issues. So it isn't something that I plan to do, but I at least plan to do it for my own use at the very least. So I'm interested to see how that's gonna pan out. Well, that brings to a close this year's Christmas special, more or less. because I know you've all been waiting for it, I'm going to leave you with the first teaser trailer for my Mission to the Unknown figure animation. But if you'll indulge me just a moment longer, there's a couple of points I'd like to make. Firstly, this is just what it says to be, a teaser trailer. I'm still in the process of making all the figures, so don't expect a release date reveal or full animation previews just yet. And secondly, it just leaves me to say, as always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, favourite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot, and be sure to check out the description below for a link to my Patreon. I'm doing my very first figure animation, as you all know, and you can get involved. There is exclusive content and rewards for those who do so, and funding my Patreon in any way gets your name at the end of my videos. And if you subscribe to my Patreon now, not only will you have gotten to see the preview that you're about to see now, so that doesn't matter, I don't know why I'm mentioning that, but you will also get to see the exclusive colour version with extended preview shots of the trailer you are about to watch. So be sure to go and check out my Patreon. But that just leaves me to say, I salute you all, and I will see you with another video in the new year, the 15th of January, very soon. This is Mark Corey, Special Security Service reporting from the planet Kemble. The Daleks are planning the complete destruction of our galaxy. Together with the powers of the outer galaxies, a war force is being assembled. If our galaxy is to be saved, whoever receives this message must relay this information to Earth immediately. It is vital that defense mechanisms are put into operation at once.